created their own theater, their own vaudeville. And Pekin Theater was one of those places that, started the trend. And so we have a number of entertainers who have gone across the country and even the world, but who starred at the Pekin Theater. The play is about this black gangster who's sort of modeled on Robert Mott's. And he makes a bet with these two Italian gangsters, that he can find two people that can compose music better than what's heard on the radio. And the money starts flying to the point where he thinks that with this money he can buy the Pekin and also bring it back to its glory. So he kidnaps Alfred Anderson and Joe Jordan. They have 1 hour to come up with a piece of music that's better than what's heard on the radio. The hook of the story, the bet, was actually true. There were these guys who were in a restaurant or a bar or whatever, if this is a newspaper story, and they bet that Joe Jordan and Alfred Anderson could come up with a song better than was played on the radio. So they got these guys, locked them up in a room, and apparently it must have been good because somebody lost I think it was a diamond stick pin that was bet. So this bet was actually the hook for my story. So what you see here will be these two guys trying to figure out what it is they can do in an hour in order to please this gangster.
I told you I didn't want to talk about it anymore. We're wasting time.
Whatever you say. So, where are we?
Same place we were 5 minutes ago before you started reminiscing. I wish I could remember those songs.
Well, didn't you write some kind of song for Nettie?
Nettie? Oh, Nettie. God, what a voice.
What a mouth. That woman could cuss you out 40 ways for Sunday. It'd be such a little thing if she could drink you under the table. Was she a looker? Oh my God, did that woman have
and a vibrato that could carry from here to Prairie Street. Wait a minute. There's a song I wrote with Edward Llewellyn a long time ago. I think Nettie sang it. Da, 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 da. This life is made up, so they say. A mixture of sorrows and joys. Though we don't play the same childish ways, we're still little girls and boys.
And it isn't a toy, but a heart still broken that brings back the tears. But a kiss can replace the smile to your face, as it did in those fond other years. With a tear, a kiss, a smile, loss of life, does fate beguile? When a tear is smothered by a kiss, a smile will tell the world of bliss, just as sunshine follows rain. So each joy must have its pain. It's the same old story all the while. A tear, a kiss, a smile.
We can't use it.
Why not? It's a good song. If we change the words around a little bit and maybe make it a little more upbeat, no one will know.
Sylvester Russell.
What is he? Oh,
Remember? He heard it and wrote about it. Big Man is sure to find out that you already wrote that song.
Sylvester Russell.
By Sylvester Russell, the foremost colored dramatic critic for the Indianapolis Freeman. The Music, which is under the direction of Joe Jordan, dragged in the sentimental numbers. It is somewhere off in dreamland where Mr. Jordan goes. Sometimes he wakes up and smiles, but why not stay awake and keep the orchestra together?
I hated Sylvester Russell.
The reason why colored singers lose their voices so early is because most of them have never been properly trained.
Rubber baby buggy bumper.
Another reason is because singers are too obliged to sing for anyone or everyone who flatters them. I want to remind singers that if they would use their selfishness in favor of their voices instead of other ways, they would be much better off in the end.
Everybody hated Sylvester Russell.
The music in the show is authentic music of the time. All but one piece was written by Alfred Anderson. There were two pieces that I didn't have any music for. So I asked Reginald Robinson, a music historian and a MacArthur Genius Fellow, to compose for those two pieces.
You told me that you wanted, the important thing was that, because I knew the Alfred Anderson tune was from about 1908. And you told me that you wanted, with your song, you wanted it to sound from like later years. So there is a difference in sound. And I listened to a lot of the music from the early 1900s, music from people like Joe Jordan and Louis Chauvin, and even Scott Joplin. He wrote songs, and the chords were different. I mean, it was pretty much a basic chord changes, and the rhythmic patterns were different too. And so in that time of Joe Jordan and the Alfred Anderson song, that's more like a two-step. It's a two-step, or it could be a slow drag, or there was a different style, in around that time, 1900s. And then around the tune that you wrote, you wanted it to sound like it was from like the teen years. So I stretched it a little bit. I was like, well, I wanted it to be up tempo like the foxtrot. The foxtrot was coming in around 1913, 14 years like that. And the foxtrot went all the way into the 1930s. I think they were still writing foxtrots around that time. So I wanted to make it in that style, like the foxtrot style. I said it would be different. It's a different rhythm, a different feel.
Okay, so there are a lot of Black composers during that time period. How come we don't know anything about them?
Well, they've forgotten. A lot of them are forgotten with time. A lot of people don't go back and preserve their family's history. And so there are so many musicians who are just forgotten with time. And it's an honor to be talking with you. You are a descendant of one of these great musicians, and great artists. So it's like, I just think it's important. We too often Black people, we don't hold on to our history. A lot of it gets thrown in the trash.
The second piece is about Big Man, because we know that he wants to buy the Pekin, but we really, really don't know the emotional impact behind it. And what he's going to talk about is how he moved from the South to the North to make it good. And this is his trip back home and what he found. And this is his impetus for trying to bring the Pekin back.
I sent money back. Ain't right. Wouldn't have done no good. None of the family could read. I kept sending money. I waited, till I could get my ducks in a row. Last month, I went back last month for the first time in years. Came back to show them what I made of myself. Show them I'm the big man in this town. Last month, I decided to drive down in my new car. Last month, I drove down to Duck Hill, Mississippi to show off what I got. Ain't nobody home. House empty. Someone in town said there was a bad influenza going around. My mom and dad, my sister and brother, they all caught it and died. Didn't even know where they was buried. But I know that they in colored heaven, where they can dance and sing and make up songs. Ain't nobody stopping them now, because colored heaven is where there ain't nobody got his foot on your neck and his hand in your pocket. Colored heaven is when you can live the life you wanna and make people happy doing it. That, son, is colored heaven. And that's what I want now. I ain't dying to get there neither. That's what this place in Bar Mas means to me. Right here, right now, I'm gonna make this place my colored heaven.